Hello, we have Bob Terrell here from the Entrepreneur Source. Thank you so much for joining me today, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Lindsay. Thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to take some time with you today.
Yes, no, this will be great. So, as you know, I have a few questions here about you, for you. So, we might as well just kind of dive right into it. So, how about you just start by telling me a little bit more about, what your background is and or what has inspired you to become a franchise coach?
Fantastic. Great. We're always wanting to share. So, Lindsay, of course, my name is Bob Terrell. I'm with the Entrepreneur Source. I'm based out of Houston, Texas. A little bit about my background. I'm married. Been married to a lovely wife of 38 years, and she's from Newfoundland, Canada. So a long way from here. One son and one grandson as well. So he's a joy to be around. Um, my background, a little bit, my experience is in oil and gas. I've got over 30 years of experience. I spent in the oil and gas industry, specializing in, I guess, operations management, business development. And throughout my career, I worked primarily with Fortune 500 companies, and I later transitioned to private equity-owned firms. I managed a local company while reporting to an executive leadership team in Europe. I moved toward coaching, and I think in 2018. So I've been working in coaching for about 7 years, and I made the transition to business ownership myself and joining the Entrepreneur Source. Over the past 7 years, I've helped individuals explore new career paths and business opportunities, leveraging my business background and skills in management to help guide them toward financial and professional independence.
Awesome.
Yeah, so really been inspiring, really providing kind of a little bit greater flexibility for me and a better lifestyle, a little more opportunities to spend time with my wife and family, and actually see my grandson grow up a little bit more, spend time with him.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, kind of allows me to have that flexibility, even travel with the family, remote family being Newfoundland. It's not a short distance, so it's kind of a bit longer distance away. So I was really drawn to the opportunity and what it allowed me to do in coaching and the diversified marketplace and really helping people in various business opportunities.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, it's nice to kind of have that freedom to do that, to go travel. So yeah,
Sure
like
is.
you said, it's not a short trip to your wife's family. So now when working with when working with clients, what is your process for understanding what their goals are and their skills, and even their financial needs before you recommend any franchise options?
Really good question. I mean, I think that it's important in coaching that the entrepreneur source, we've really taken, I guess, kind of take a grassroots approach and that focuses on really learning more about our clients and their primary goals. We have an area that we talk about their income, their lifestyle, wealth, and equity. It's called their ILWE, kind of a acronym for that. We take time to understand their desires, their needs, and even and really our aspirations, of course, around their, also their skill sets and background, and try to foster an approach, provide an engaging environment for learning and exploration, education and discovery. Right, that we really take on a lot of facets as a coach and working with folks. So we're kind of really prompting and learning from them. And many of the folks that we work with may not initially know what they want, but
Yeah.
through our coaching and process, we really help them to discover exciting possibilities that will really can align with their vision and create a rewarding outcome for that. So those are important aspects with regards to a little bit about our process. I think some of the other areas that you brought up are also their goals, their skills, and financial needs as well, and recommending financial or franchise options. And some of those key aspects are around, I think one of the areas that really attunes to me a bit is a drive and desire by the folks we're working with. It's a primary motivator behind their journeys and then covering their why. It's really pretty straightforward. Their core values and purpose. They also have a passion for knowledge and business ownership is pretty essential. I encourage candidates to do their homework. Because not all business opportunities are the right fit for them, right? It's
Right.
really learning about that. And following a system is incredibly important too, right? Success in a business often comes from following proven systems. We help candidates develop self-disciplined approach that allows them to really compare and contrast and explore options in a structured manner. And as a coach, I help guide them through exploration discovery process, ensuring they feel supported in a safe and judgment-free space. And the key factors that kind of set us apart at the entrepreneur's source. And lastly, around some of the financial considerations and understanding that the
Mhm.
preparedness is crucial
Yeah.
for the aspect of business ownership. During our coaching sessions, we assess each of the candidates' financial positions and their net worth, providing initial guidance and even some funding options. The Entrepreneur Source has been really good about setting aside some strategic funding partners that are able to educate our candidates on various financial or funding solutions, including simple things, and many of you may know this, SBA programs or Small Business Administration loans, rollover or ROBS programs,
Mhm.
portfolio loans, conventional loans, HELOCs, or home equity lines of credit. And we've actually taken on some aspects for those folks in Canada as well. So we're really trying to cover, our management team at TS has done a great job of trying to include that now, where we've got some insights to additional funding through the Canadian sources as well. So each candidate's situation is different, right? And our
Yeah.
goal is really to help them identify those funding solutions that align with their needs, right? And those options, they can gain confidence and make an informed decision about what kind of solution provides the best support for their business aspiration, their business goals.
Hmm. Yeah, I know that TES has got a pretty thorough process. So that's exactly what that sounds like. Now, now, how do you go about evaluating and vetting franchises before you recommend them to a client? Like, what criteria is most important to you?
I think evaluating, kind of and vetting, we take a pretty much we have some coaching tools we use, but we take a thorough and structured approach in evaluating the franchises before recommending them to our candidates.
Hmm.
Our management team has provided us with some really good tools and resources to assess each of those opportunities effectively. I think one of the biggest factors for us is we really stay informed and in contact and connection with the franchisers. I think that's a key
Yeah.
aspect for our coaching. We have weekly franchisor webinars where we regular sessions that we have with the franchisers to gain insights on their business models, the industry trends, and support systems. We also do annual franchise partner events, one-on-one discussions with the franchisers, and stay updated on brand developments, operational changes, any growth strategies and developments. And then, of course, we have an annual conference meeting where we have all of our franchisers involved there as well, and a deeper dive into their updates and long-term vision and mission for. And we do really get a cultural aspect too of the business. I think that way, meeting one-on-one with the franchise
Yeah.
companies, right? We really get a deeper perspective. Through that direct access with them, we're able to develop relationships as well, ensuring we get. We also have we get firsthand knowledge, but also we have access to them to do that. And kind of by leveraging those resources, we ensure that we get up to date and comprehensive knowledge of the opportunities, which kind of also allows me as a coach to make well-informed recommendations to my candidates. And then also you mentioned criteria, what's key. This is an interesting question. I think when evaluating the franchises, some aspects that come to mind for me are I really start off with some of the core values and culture. I think that's a really strong area for a good fit for the candidates, and that comes back to even knowing the franchise a bit more and understanding some of those cultural positions around the company.
Yeah.
Um, Flexibility is a key one for a lot of the companies that we work with and the clients. Understanding that, assessing whether the business allows them to achieve some of their ideal work-life balance situations and lifestyle and aspirations. Training and support comes to mind as well. I think that it sets an understanding for the growth of the owner and understanding that and kind of the, the comprehensiveness of those training programs and the quality of the training and support that's offered. And of course, the business scalability and growth potential for a business is a kind of a criteria for me as well. That really under kind of looks at the company as far as what kind of growth potential is there in the area for him with that business model, and even looking at kind of territories or if it's could be unrestricted, right? So there's a lot of things that provide some insight to that around. Excuse me for just a minute. I may turn that off. I didn't mean that to happen. So I tried to turn the volume off. I didn't do a very good job. So, but I encourage my candidates to kind of keep their perceptions in check, right, as well, both positive and negative, and approach the process with an open mind. The goal is to really gather information, ask the right questions, and explore options that align with some of those personal and professional aspirations and development. Through working with the candidates and be able to compare and contrast different businesses together as well. So that is kind of a uniqueness, gaining clarity for me as well. Working with my candidates, they teach me as much as I sometimes teach them. So there's kind of unique. It's a sharing experience, right?
Yeah.
It really allows them to reaffirm their particular business opportunity, how it aligns with their long-term goals. And ultimately, the right franchise might be one that excites them every single day, right? You want to get up and have something that you're proud to be working and excited to go to work for every morning and every day. And that happens, the sky's kind of the limit, right? And business ownership puts them on a path of independence for themselves. And it's really a truly exciting opportunity for them. I get excited as well. Yeah. So it's
no, I mean, it's all very important stuff. You want to, like I said, be thorough. This is a big life decision. So what about a story of a particular challenging client placement? Like, how did you work through that to find them a good franchise fit?
Let me think for a minute on that one. I have a challenging situation. I
Or if
wonder.
you just have one, like in general, what would make it a little bit more of a challenge?
I think one that comes to mind. That's right off the board. I had a client that was in San Francisco. His name was Paul. His situation kind of required a longer term approach. I'm sure that to find the right business and a unique business that fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually a culinary instructor at a prestigious culinary institute and had previous experience. And then he'd even owned a cafe in the San Francisco, Oakland area. We started working in, I believe it was October of 2021. We connected via social media. His interests were to explore opportunities, and he and his wife had actually planned they were going to move from San Francisco to Atlanta, Georgia. They actually owned a rental property in Atlanta, and they were really contemplating to move back to the Atlanta area. So we put some time in together. I knew that this was probably going to be an area that took a while to develop. So there was a kind of a set timeline, but one that we knew was for me, it was challenging because it would be a longer duration of time. But we started looking at multiple industries. We looked at food service industries because he came from the culinary area. He also felt that his background in that area was a strength for him. We looked at sports and recreation, home furnishings, and even real estate and property management. So initially, we kicked off and looked at some home improvement and food service businesses, and weighing kind of the benefits and challenges of each. But during some of our initial discussions, kind of the uniqueness about it is that because he felt the food industry was right for him, but through some deeper discussions, and again, kind of back to the grassroots approach that we utilize and try to work with our clients and comparing and contrasting business models, he kind of moved away from the food businesses because he felt that maybe they weren't quite the right fit at the end of the day. And then that's kind of an opportunity surfaced that Paul had a connection with a major film studio in Los Angeles, and through his cafe and work in culinary up in San Francisco, he had done work for the NFL and some other activities down in Los Angeles area. And we discovered that he had some relationships with some of the studios, the motion picture studios in Los Angeles. Well, looking at that, we also came up with some insights about moving to Atlanta and that there were some major motion picture studios in Atlanta as well. And from that, many of their executives and staff required frequent travel and they needed frequent temporary housing requirements doing movies and motion pictures in Atlanta. And so, recognizing kind of that untapped demand, we pivoted and explored into the real estate and the property management franchises. And they catered to those rental opportunities. And it actually aligned with Paul's investment property ownership already and industry connections that he had had doing his rental property as well. So, but given his extended timeline, really kind of the challenge for me was support and adaptability for this long duration, right? I think, and for himself, but also for the franchisers, trying to find a good fit culturally, that one that could work with Paul for a longer term. And I was able to find that through one of the companies that we work with, and they were very, very flexible and supportive of onboarding and even training options. Paul's son was he was making a lot of life changes. His son was going to college, so up in Oregon, so he had to go up there. They were traveling back and forth. He was working still in his culinary work in San Francisco and then making treks to Atlanta. So it got to be a lot of back and forth and movement, but also operational support from the franchisor and strategic discussions really helped him in that transition in finding the opportunity for him in that area. And I really felt that their adaptability and ongoing engagement, as well as my involvement and coaching with him, really helped keep Paul on track. And it was a bit challenging sometimes, right? But despite some of the shifting priorities and timelines. But over a year of exploration, Paul finally decided that he was going to move forward with a real estate and property management company. And in December, I think it was December, later December, I think it was, in 2022, he remained patient, adaptable through the entire period, right? So that was really great. And he really decided to move into that business and resulting in a really well-informed and confident decision at the end of the day. And, so I think the challenge was more the duration of time and timing and scheduling and everything that was going on with Paul and his requirements. But it just kind of shows you the optionality of the businesses and how working with people, you can actually, back to my grassroots approach, trying to really understand our clients and their goals and needs, but also some uniqueness about it too, about finding opportunities that can also fit in a number of different ways. And he moved from out of one industry into the next. So, I mean, I guess that's pretty challenging as well to move from culinary arts into real estate and property management. Kind of a challenge as well for his learning as well. But he's got a business up and running now in the Atlanta area and really doing well.
That's good. That kind of sounds like a challenge that turned into like a good story. Well, I think most of them do end, good, which is great. So with that, do you have a particular story of a client that, did choose the right business for them? I mean, it sounds like that last guy there, he did still choose the right business for him, but is there more of a I guess a story, yeah, about a client that did choose the right business for them. They found success, they're, thriving, and how good, does that feel to be able to have done that and help someone and guide them through that to kind of be living their dream?
That's a great question, Lindsay. I think I've got a recent candidate that comes to mind, right, that I can bring up on that. It kind of exemplifies the journey, kind of finding the right business and achieving business success. Last year, January, I connected with a candidate. His name is Jillian, and along with her husband, they worked together at the same company, and she was in Florida. Unfortunately, due to restructuring, corporate restructuring, she and her husband couldn't work at the same company together, and she's required to leave her position because of internal restrictions by the new corporate management team. This unexpected change prompted her to really explore new opportunities where she could achieve kind of greater autonomy and flexibility. Her skills were in business management, sales operations background. And so again, we took time to focus on her ILWI goals. We took time and worked through those and helped her clarify her vision for her future. Jillian expressed a strong desire, really, initially starting out for a business that she could run from home or virtually or from even a small office space. So we tried to evaluate some diverse range of industries, including senior care, employment, staffing, and beauty and personal care were some interest areas of hers, right? So trying to find something that was home-based or a small office location where she could work from virtually as well. So it's interesting. People make changes along the way, right?
Yeah,
People have
definitely.
habits of, we've been back to the comparing and contrasting. That's constantly changing. So exploring those options and finding kind of the right fit was important for us. So initially, she really gravitated toward what we call a senior care option, which is a home-based business and it was actually a resale business. However, after several discussions and her exploration and kind of going through the business, she felt that it wasn't quite the right fit for her. Right, the complexity, managing licensing in an unfamiliar operational area made her a bit hesitant. But at the same time, as I mentioned, one of the brand areas we looked at, of course, home furnishings, and the other brand was a beauty brand. Well, funny enough, just so happens that one of the companies in our portfolio was a beauty brand that she actually had utilized before. So that
Wow.
kind of piqued her interest, should we say, right? And over the next few months, she was able to delve deeper into the culture of the company, the support systems that were offered by the brand, and a thorough discussion and exploration. Well, ironically, this business itself, not only did she use it, but she found out her husband, um, his best friend, his wife, her husband's best friend, her wife owned the same business in Tennessee. So a lot of
Oh,
report
moment.
discussions. It's kind of unique is about the business office that we talk about and kind of what uniqueness comes out of kind of, oh my gosh, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But so it really helps kind of really help her understand the business model. It wasn't a sure position for her, but it incorporated her the chance to talk to those people and validation as well. And not only that, she was able to talk to some of the local owners that she had actually
Hmm.
utilized the brand. And so she decided that this was kind of the thing for her. So her and her husband attended a discovery day and basically decided to move forward with the business. And through that, we also had some discussions around some of the financial where we can help her as well. And through some of our strategic funding resources, she was able to procure and opt for a 3-unit package of this business in the west coast of Florida. And really very excited for her where she could grow and scale a business. But even further to that, expanding kind of her business horizon. During her initial development, after she signed, she ran across an additional opportunity with the business as a
Oh, wow.
as a business that was up for sale in the business market. Right, the owners decided to move away from it. It wasn't doing good. It's just they could not do the business, and so it became available, and it was a business south of her. And her and her husband actually decided to put their home up for rent, and they moved. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and took on a resale business, one that was on the market. And so now she's the proud owner of a business south of her in the Sarasota area, and also has some development for 3 opportunities up in the St. Pete area north of that, up in the west coast of Florida. So there was incredible pride with me for her because I saw her grow and develop. I met with her husband as well a couple times, and they just are a great couple. She's well on her way to being a successful business owner, and really being able to help someone like her fulfill her dream of becoming a business owner is incredibly rewarding, right? And it's seeing her transformation from the work that she was doing to now a full-fledged business owner. And I still stay in touch with her on a regular basis, and her confidence and success brings immense pride to me, and really reaffirms why and coaching and the passion for coaching, and really seeing my client realize those kind of aspirations and build a thriving business um, is profound, and it really can have a profound impact on you as a coach.
Yeah, yeah, that would feel pretty good, especially not finding one, but two, kind of
Yeah,
coming across two really great opportunities that were a
yeah,
great fit for her.
yeah. Well, they were actually the same business, so
Oh, this it, right. This it, yeah,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Now what about some common misconceptions that clients might have about franchising? Like, how do you address that when people bring those up to you?
I think it's a pretty important question with regard to that as well. I mean, there are candidates have a lot of different beliefs about franchising, right? And
Yeah,
they're working. I think one of the biggest ones that comes to mind is that some of these are cliches a little bit in the world, but of business ownership, but in franchising. But they envision themselves performing some of the day-to-day tasks of the franchise, right? And which is it could be as simple as automotive services, environmental, window cleaning, whatever the case may be, and really trying to shift their mindset to being a business owner is one that comes to mind, where it's a misconception that they think that they're going to have to be doing the business with regards to the actual physical work sometimes. And it's crucial for candidates to understand that this, as a role as a franchise business owner, it's really to be not involved in every operational aspect of the business, but to focus on the strategy and support the overall success of the business. We often say work on the business and not in the business. You heard that say. So I try to always I use a little different phraseology about keep that owner hat on all the time, right? I say to clients, right? So try to keep that mindset about you're the owner of the business. So encouraging them to focus on business development, building relationships and networking, and seeking the opportunity for growth. Really looking at strategic planning, setting their goals and actionable plans to be successful, and really focused on a team management approach, right? With hiring, training, and empowering staff to execute those daily operations effectively, and really reaffirm their perspective about um, beginning to recognize their primary responsibilities in a business to manage and lead rather than perform every task themselves, depending on the type of franchise, of course, that they're looking at. But that's one of the ones that comes to mind. And I think kind of another quick misconception that we see sometimes is often the belief that uh, they're working alone in their franchising
mm, yeah,
journey, right? And they may not realize that the business model that we're looking at and the franchisers are really designated to be there to help them to work for themselves, but not by themselves. And it's kind of
right.
a position that truly is to form, right? I think that I try to address that through talking about some of the extensive support systems that the franchisers bring to the table, which include training, operational support, community and networking events, as well as access to networking fellow franchisees owners, as well as their management teams and support. Many of the companies provide coach support and technology aspects to really help them be successful in the business. And they're surprised to learn about that. Some of the robust technology solutions that the companies provide, right? It's not Joe in a truck anymore.
Right.
These franchise companies are using AI and interactive tooling that is really out there. That's way above some of the uh, industry standards for some of the other companies that are out there. And by addressing some of those misconceptions head on, I think my candidates a little bit clearer understanding of what it's meant to be a successful business owner through
Hmm.
education, kind of open dialogue, and ensuring that they're prepared for some of the challenges and opportunities that come from franchising, but ultimately setting them up for success.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions, but it's interesting. I feel like it varies that, some people hear more over others. So,
It does.
so yeah, well that's good. I mean, that's all very, fascinating. It's nice to know kind of how you work in your process and the things that you do to kind of make sure that you're giving your clients the best experience and guiding them towards, the ultimate goal, which is business ownership. So I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with me today, Bob. It was great catching up with you.
But same here, Lindsay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate people
Yeah.
listening. Take some time with me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll chat again soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Lindsay, very much. Have a great day.
You too. Hello, we've got Bob Terrell here from the Entrepreneur Source. Bob, thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
Hi, Lindsay. Doing great. Good to talk to you today.
You too. You too. Thank you. So, I do got a question here for you.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, what has your experience been like working with Schoolie Mitchell? And then, just what is it about Schoolie Mitchell that makes it attractive to some of your clients?
Uh, really like this question with regard to Schoolie Mitchell. Schoolie Mitchell has been with TS quite a while, by the way, Lindsay. I think we have a long track record of working
Hmm.
with them and the Entrepreneur Source. It's really been a positive experience for me with regard to Schoolie Mitchell for many of my candidates, especially those that have prior experience in business development or experience in consulting businesses is kind of a key for me with some of that. Um, Schoolie Mitchell, for me, offers a lot of flexibility, which is inherent to the business model that you all do through making an appealing option for several reasons. I think some of the key benefits that I tend to see with Schoolie Mitchell is your flexibility is I think top of the list, and some of your non-territorial restrictions, you offer unique advantage with those non-territorial restrictions. It really allows uh, owners to operate without being confined to a specific geographical region. And there's not too many companies that allow for that in our industry. In fact, actually, I had somebody reach out to me and say, "Well, our company's going to change. We're going to do that now." Well, yeah, okay. So they're seeing some of the benefits of that, right? And I've already kind of noticed that with Schoolie Mitchell. Your versatility for business operations. Your model allows candidates their own business with significant versatility. You can tailor their approach to meet kind of some of their goals and circumstances, making it an attractive choice for those that are seeking autonomy and in their entrepreneurial journey. You even have some bolt-on capability with your business, which makes it unique as well. So I talked to several people across the country, and he ran across a couple of people that had Schoolie Mitchell and that established consulting businesses. And Schoolie Mitchell was able to bolt on with them, serving as an opportunity to provide cost reduction services as well. They were able to use that in their work and offer potentially increasing revenue streams for them and also building their relationships with their existing clients. So that was really great. You do have some additional options around semi-active participation, the option to operate the business in that capacity is particularly appealing for those who want to maintain a balance between their professional commitments and personal life, kind of back to the same person that I mentioned before, similar. So flexibility allowed them the dedication and time to focus on not only their work but other ventures and responsibilities while benefiting from the Schoolie Mitchell framework. Cost of entry, of course, is a good one for you guys with regards to
Yeah.
the significant factor that attracts candidates, lower investment opportunities, and then your strong corporate culture and experience really is a strength that I think comes across from not only Dennis, but from other members of your business development team and others in your corporate team. You have a strong corporate culture and years of industry experience, and a really strong support system, which for me is invaluable to franchisees, offering guidance, resources, and a collaborative environment that fosters growth and success for a business owner. Currently, I have two people that are looking at Schoolie Mitchell, so it's in discovery with them.
That's
And
right.
it's a great fit for candidates with that seeking flexibility and versatility, but on a cost-effective business opportunity. And the combination of your unique business model and supportive corporate structure really makes it an attractive option for many of my clients. It really empowers them to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams with confidence. And I think that's really what Schoolie does at the end of the day.
Awesome. Well, that is great to hear. It's nice to know that we can work together and really help people kind of get to their goals there and find a business that it fits them. So I really appreciate you saying all that. That is great to hear. So thanks so much, Bob.
It's my pleasure, Lindsay. My pleasure. I look forward to several more years working together, Lindsay. You guys have been great.
Agreed. Me
So,
too. Me too. All right. Thanks so much, Bob. We'll talk to you soon.
thank you.